One of my favorite games, Journey to the Savage Planet, came out in 2020. In 5 years and a buyout, then firing later, a sequel has arrived, Revenge of the Savage Planet. And yes, you're going to hear me say I love this game and the original a lot. This game is proving to be just as funny and dumb in a lovable way as the first game. But let's start at the beginning. From what I've gathered, we start either 40 years or 100 years after the events of Journey 2. Our beloved fourth best in aerospace corporation, Kindred Aerospace, has been bought by the giant interglobal company Alta Interglobal, and they changed the name to Alta Intergalactic. We are one of their pioneers that loads into a spaceship and gets sent from Earth to another planet to try to colonize it. Since their transporters still liquefy people over long distances, we have been in cryo sleep for the past 100 years while we traveled. Once we've arrived at Stellaris Prime, something went wrong. Probably budget cuts, and our ship started to break apart. Instead of waking up in my lovely habitat, we find ourselves on a beach, but we aren't alone. Nope. We have one of my favorite parts of Journey to the Savage Planet, Echo. This time, though, she is a little robot body flying around with us. She's full of knowledge, sass, and just weirdness. Now, as we venture along the beach, we encounter our first alien plant, and Echo tells us one of our most important missions. And the first feature of the game is to catalog everything with our scanner. I'll be scanning a lot of things, so I'll probably just show you the funny ones in the future, like the first creature we come across, the Brainard.
Look at that little guy, completely filled with gas. Charming.
For now, we have come across a cliff, and Echo lets us know that in order to get up, we need to get some sort of upgrade. Luckily, we passed the 3D printer on the way here. But we need materials like carbon. Everything in this game needs elements like carbon, aluminum, and other elements. Now, how to get those elements? Simple. Killing. I mean, poking the wildlife and taking it from them. Well, actually, you can also find it in rocks sometimes, but these don't infinitely respawn.
Okay, now I feel kind of bad about all
Now that we've acquired our Zoot jump thrusters, we can finally double jump and start heading towards our habitat. Come across one of the things that will help us in the future, vitality trees. I slap it, and lovely little Cheetos fall out, filling my health. Continuing our journey, I come across some alarmingly fragile crystal that is blocking my path, and unfortunately, my slap is not cutting it with this one. I need something else. Something a bit more Texan. That's right, a gun. After grabbing some aluminum and crafting it, I finally acquired the first step for my Han Solo cosplay. Making my way back to the crystals, I open fire. Past this little crystalline roadblock, I encounter my first enemies, slitherflies. Luckily, with my new weaponry and a few hits to myself, I can take care of those bugs pretty easily. Now, earlier I started talking about a creature from the first game, puffers. They were the little bug-eyed creatures that were pretty much everywhere in the original game. This game has their own Rokokos, because apparently trash pandas are a universal thing. And yes, when you shoot them, those big eyes stay and roll around. You can also pop the eyes. Yes, it is gross, and I only did it once to test it. Okay, let's see what happens when we shoot them. Aw, nothing special.
perhaps a good moment to gain some altitude.
Oh, their eyes! I forgot about that. When you kill them, their eyes roll out of their heads.
That's a choice.
Look. Now we have come across another important thing about these planets if I want to survive. Orange goo. This completely unknown substance increases my health and stamina. Now as I go along, I need to find more of these in order to get that upgrade, but this first one works. Oh, that's how we eat this one? Okay.
How bad is it? On a scale from cricket.
Continuing onward, we come across another obstacle, and this one is a puzzle or challenge. We have to feed this humanoid tree 3 of these little kiwi slugs in order to remove its vines. Also, when I pick up this little guy, it caused me to holster my gun, and well, it seems simple, right? Well, you'll see how it goes. Don't worry, I finally figure out how to pull my gun again, but I keep on trucking. Finally, I made it to New Florida. My habitat, sweet habitat. That is honestly not far off from the real Florida. Powering up my habitat and heading inside, I find a message from Alta Interglobal, the ones who sent me here. And I've been fired. And been giving some terrifying words to end off the video with.
As an old boss once told me, you can visit
Pity City, but you can't live there, so make the most of it.
Dejected, I check my computer for more information. But first, I must pick my voice. Yes, I said my voice. And you are seeing anime characters and animals on that screen that do change your voices. Now, all of the characters are pretty funny, and I end up picking the dog because I want to continue my legacy from the first game. When I played the first game solo, I played as a dog. So if you hear dog pants, whines, or anything else for the rest of the game, it's just the character. I do check out the anime girl at one point, and it sounds exactly as you expect. After selecting our voice, though, we can check out all kinds of stuff at our computer. For now, we can check the news, emails, trainings, video archive, and the home DKO. Exiting the computer, I take a look at the home DKO as Echo tries to open our communicator. That seems to have a problem. I'll check on that in a second. In home DKO, we have all kinds of things we can buy. Well, I should say buy in the future, because right now we only have 800,000 Alta bucks, which only gets us the Caught in a Shamalama Ding Dong poster that we already have, and this weight. We'll find more bucks in the future. Upon going outside, we find that something was living inside the dish and kind of got squished when we opened it, causing the whole thing to be gooed. This leads us to our next upgrade, the power hose. But we need another printer cartridge to get it. Also, periodically, we will be going into the habitat. A 1990s to early 2000s style infomercial may start playing, advertising some dumb things like Slappy the Robot or New Grub 2. They're just dumb fun, and some of them are even a little gross. But as far as I know, they have no impact on the story. There's probably achievement for watching all of them, so I did stop to watch all of them. Just mentioning that now, real quick, before we continue heading on. Oh, you seem to look.
what's going on? Look at this mess!
Mom, get out of here. We're playing. Don't kill Mother.
Oh, Slappy.
Slappy comes fully equipped with an auto fabricator tool that can generate the equipment needed for all of.
Starting my journey to get the printer cartridge for the power hose, I start coming across some familiar plants. Bombogranate. These little explosive plants are very good once I get an upgrade to hold them indefinitely. There's also gelatinous blobs that allow me to bounce higher and higher. And here I unlock my first teleporter. There are several of these throughout the planet and save me so much time, if I remember them. And yes, I had forgot I had them multiple times. Unfortunately, my first death was due to me running through some fiery liquid and then proceeding to get sniped by it. This introduced us to how we respawn, and we have to collect our supplies that we dropped. We can avoid dropping things by popping back to the habitat at any time, as we automatically deposit them upon entering. On my way back to get my things, I discovered another hungry tree. This one is guarded by essentially gelatinous cubes from D&D, and their data entry stated that they were weak to water, but I misunderstood that as they couldn't go into water. Turns out they could, and I had to run. Luckily, they are a bit slower, and I was able to unlock the tree, get some loot, and more orange goo.
Worth it.
Finally making it back to my supplies, I continue on using a new plant called an ice detonator. I froze some Rococos, including an alpha one. Alpha ones of species are a lot more aggressive, and most of them blow up when you get close or you kill them. Best to deal with them from a distance. Coming across a new creature, it's a beetle. I learned that you can stun some of these creatures and have to stun some in order to even kill them. And scanning will tell you what their weakness is, which will stun them. After adventuring a little bit more, I come across a very obvious arena, and sitting in the middle is our printer cartridge that we need. Setting foot inside this arena triggers all the slitherflies to start popping out and attacking. And after 3 swift rounds, I am finally able to claim my prize. Time to get a power hose. Though this is one of the times I had already forgotten that I had unlocked a teleporter and ran all the way back. I'll spare you most of that journey, but one part I did want to point out when I was on my way back, I came across this Blobulus, which prompts Echo to locate a power whip, our next upgrade, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Making it back to the habitat, I craft the power hose so we can clean the comms. On my way out, I discover we have a wardrobe. And yes, I chose the cat outfit, and yes, I will probably be wearing it for the rest of the game. I do change colors once I unlock some more, but how to unlock that comes a little bit later. Back to the comms ray. After cleaning it, Echo tells us that our stuff is definitely scattered everywhere. And we also get a surprise message from Martin Tweed, the original CEO of Kindred. He tells us that he has a plan to get back at Alta for what they did to Kindred and will be in touch. I upgrade my gun to pack more of a punch, and also built a fall dimensional fire because, yes, I need it. Upon checking out my teleporter, I find something a little startling. See, in the first game, we were on just one planet and it was massive. But in this game, we have a map of Stellaris, but also outlines of other planets. Soon we'll be visiting some other places, but once again, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Also, throughout several points, you'll probably hear a voice going off. It's just V-Bucks, Alta Bucks. They have this thing go off so you can try to find them by sound. They're a little bit annoying, but if you hear it, that's just that. Searching for the whip, I find a place that is very filled with harmful gas. Fortunately for me, there were mushrooms above it, and it seemed like the whip was above it as well, so I just carefully parkoured across, made it to these dehydrated mushrooms, and hydrated them once again. Unfortunately, this gets me to where there's also stinging bloatuses. These are plants that spit at you and basically freeze you in place if you get hit enough. I do find out later that spraying them with water kills them, but later. I just kind of ran past these guys. Just as I pass them, I find some more gelatinous cubes that I avoid while also avoiding the spitting plants and climbing up the tree, receiving the whip. Using the whip, I can now break open Blobulus, which will reveal some elements or treasure, or some are just blocking paths. Collecting an orange goo, I start leaving the area, and this is when I realize what it meant earlier by the gelatinous cube guys are weak to water. If I fill them up with a hose, it kills them. Leaving this area, I find my second teleporter in a wall of Blobulus that is blocking a passage. That's not there for very long with my whip in hand. I return back to my habitat and quickly decide to take a look around New Florida, and I end up finding an old Kindred ship in pretty rough shape. Scanning it gives me another message from Martin Tweed at my base, and he basically tells me that he's able to find some of the missing pieces and saying that if I build the pieces, I should be able to make it back to Earth. That's for later, though. I'm not even close to wanting to leave yet. Heading back out, I also find out that I can now lasso creatures. To start, I pick up a Rococo, and then I find that stunning a hostile creature will also let me lasso it. Now, when I capture them, they go into a research pen back in New Florida, which, when we use the comms ray to call it down, gives us a nice, cute little area for all of them. We can go in there and pet and play with them. It's absolutely adorable. But the reason why we can even do this in the first place is because if we research these creatures, it'll give us new crafting recipes or colors for our wardrobe. Right after this, we also get a very interesting email from an anonymous person with challenges. These challenges will unlock colors and item recipes once all are completed for each rank. The first ones are diving 25 meters, throwing bait onto 3 creatures, this makes other creatures attack them, staggering 3 slither flies with water, which I did not know I could do, and sliding for 15 meters. All are pretty simple once I actually go do them. I also do find that although Alta has abandoned us, the ship in space still dropped all of the stuff for the settlers that they were supposed to send once we got the place set up. It quickly becomes a ghost town here since no one is arriving. Our next upgrade is a grapple hook. This is going to help me use grapple flowers and climb higher. Echo lets us know that we need to capture a creature to research its upgrade, though. After some adventuring, I find the Hognork, which is a mix of a hippo, alligator, and a rhino. I have to stagger it by shooting it in the mouth before I can lasso it, all while also being charged and shot at. I do eventually capture it and take a prize of another printer cartridge. After researching the Hognork and crafting a grapple, Echo tells us that there's some missing software that we can now reach. This software will help us calibrate the planet cannon so we can launch to other planets and get more of our missing gear. She doesn't know how it got on the other planets, though. Once we reach that data, we have to plug in Echo and defend her while there's enemies in the area. And once we do that, she does let us know that she did actually get it open 30 seconds ago, but wanted it to be more exciting. Thanks, Echo. Getting back to our base, we call down the planet cannon, and before using it, I head into the habitat as I read an ominous message from a being who is also sent here by Alta. I quickly put together that it may be Slappybot, whose box was literally sitting right next to me, open and empty since I arrived, but that's another thing. The message does tell us that our gear is definitely scattered, and that he can answer us more once we find him. Before our next steps of launching ourselves into space, I decided to do a little decorating. Perfect. Now, that's all for this episode, and next time we'll be launching ourselves into the next planet.